motherfucking period. Yes. Okay. We're gonna be talking about mental health today. I do have some other videos that I'm gonna do that's gonna be like for the shits and crazy and story time and hotels and all that other shit. But this is not the video for that. So we're gonna be talking about some real deal shit. Okay. So I am going to be talking about me getting diagnosed with bipolar disorder. I'm not even gonna hold y'all. I really did not want to talk about this at all. Because there are things that I feel like are private that I am not gonna ever talk about on YouTube. But I really sat down and asked myself, why don't I want to talk about it? You know? And I know why. I went through the parts of feeling like I did not want to be shamed or for somebody to put me in a box, you know. But I also have to understand as well, like, I think that's with anything, you know. If people are going to do that to you, they're going to do that regardless. And something that I said I wanted to do on this channel is be transparent. But I want to be able to have these kind of conversations with you guys, so you know, like, if you're dealing with this or whatever, like, you're not alone. Because I'm not even going to hold you. I know that bipolar disorder is not something that is just I'm only dealing with. I know there are millions of people, but I know within the Black community, it is a very difficult thing to talk about. So I do want to talk about my process in it. I'm going to say that. My process and how it came up. And how I feel, the things I've had to experience. So this is definitely going to be that type of video. So, of course, I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, bipolar 2 to be exact, and me going through hypomania. So look, I'm going to put that on the screen of what bipolar disorder is, and I'm going to put what hypomania is as well as mania. Okay, so now we got that out the way. I can just kind of talk with y'all, right? So, me going through being diagnosed, I've been in therapy for years now, okay? There is a lot of things that I had to unlearn, and I've had to teach myself these different things, you know, implementing good habits and good things into my life and unlearning a lot of shit that was not healthy for me, okay? As far as being diagnosed with bipolar disorder came with like a few things, right? Number one, we know the stigma behind bipolar disorder. And I'm going to add myself to part of the problem because I didn't really know much about it. I really didn't feel like I need to until I was diagnosed, just to be fairly honest. And I do understand that when bipolar disorder comes up, the first thing we think about is crazy. You know, and I did the same, so I can't even just judge other people for what they feel. I've been a part of the problem, like I said. And I think prior to being diagnosed with bipolar disorder, I knew something with me was off, okay? I only sleep for a few hours at a time, like consistently. It's gotten so bad that I will only get like maybe 4 to 5 hours of sleep sometimes, like a lot of times, to be honest. And because I was in the military for 6 years, I just thought the military put me in that, and I didn't understand that that was a part of the reason why I got diagnosed. Outside of that, me going through episodes, having extreme highs and extreme lows, hypersexuality. Oh my God, the list goes on. Now, me telling you about what I'm experiencing is not for you to diagnose yourself. Go talk to somebody, a psychiatrist, a therapist, like, then, you know, you can be able to kind of figure out what's going on with you if you know something with you is off, okay? I want to say the very first step for me was actually taking accountability and knowing that something with me was off, okay? When I was having those extreme highs and extreme lows, I honestly just thought that was normal, you know? But I knew what wasn't normal was I would have these spasms, okay? Something that I said on Facebook, that I've said on Twitter, that I'll repeat to you guys is, when I am in a good mood, I feel above the clouds. When I am not, I feel beneath the ground. And when I'm mad, I feel like I'm in hell. I feel things so intensely that there's not just a shut off because there's a chemical imbalance in my mind, right? So when I would have moments and I would react and I would do certain things, I never thought, okay, you have bipolar disorder. I've had people call me crazy. I have had that. But I didn't think it was bipolar disorder. Honestly, I just didn't. I grew up in a chaotic environment, so I never really thought to even I maybe, and that's another thing too. Maybe because I grew up around it and I seen it, I just thought like, girl, this is what it is. This is how we act, right? But it did start to affect me, especially with the pandemic, because I was once working 2 jobs. And just constantly working, and me becoming an entrepreneur and being at home more opened me up in a lot of ways, and being able to pay attention to myself. And I didn't do that. Honestly, I didn't do that. I was always going, I was always partying, I was always doing something, and I never really sat down to process and deal with my shit, deal with my trauma, my triggers, and figure out what was really going on with me. But within this time, I did. So let's go to the second thing of, for me, what I had to do. So after taking accountability of realizing that something is wrong, now I'm seeking out for help. And we all know whenever you're seeking to get help, a lot of people have a very hard time with that, because saying you need help, I think, makes a lot of people feel weak, incapable, unable, feel less than, don't feel worthy. It's so many things that pop up in your mind when you not only have to have a conversation with a professional. I also want to say a part of one of the steps I think was one of the hardest things for me was to go through the screening process of them asking me questions about my mental health. I felt shamed. I felt guilty. I felt like something was wrong with me. And I think because for me, and I can only speak for me having to go through the screening and go through these questions really made me question myself. And it made me do like a lot of deep diving and searching into, has this always been this way? And I've always operated out of that. And why didn't I get help sooner? And why do I feel shame? Why do I feel guilty? I mean, it's like a million questions of me asking myself, like, I know something is going on. I believe in solutions, and it's like, okay, if this is going on, then I know I need to do these things to fix this. I'm that person. Like, I like to fix things, and so, I'm sorry, y'all. Ooh. If y'all wear makeup, y'all know, like, you get that little itch. You be like, girl, wait a minute, bitch. Because, ooh, okay, back to it, though. But that screening very much invaded all of my privacy, So I was definitely like, I don't like this, right? Yeah, I think within that, my appointment to start my medicine is next Monday, and y'all, I'm so fucking excited. And I've had people tell me different things about what medicine did for them and everything, but for me, I don't like to take everybody's and what they went through to heed, not too much anyway, because I just feel like we're all different, our bodies are different, and I wanted at least to see what will work for me. See how can I operate outside of how I've been operating. I want to be very vulnerable. I'm going to talk about me being diagnosed and why I think it's best for me to start medication, right? Like I said, with me not working, being an entrepreneur now, and me being at home more and being able to take in on my own shit, my triggers, my trauma, and all of that shit, right? I got into a really depressed state. Like, it was hard for me to get up. It was hard for me to want to shower, do anything to myself. I just wanted to lay in bed all fucking day, right? It was either that, or I would have these really extreme highs of I'm going to make $1 million. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do all of these things. And coming up with different things. A lot of it didn't make a lick of fucking sense. But it's just that high and that low. And to me, I knew I was going through some form of depression. And that ties into bipolar disorder, okay? So I knew I was going through a depression. I just couldn't physically pull myself out of it. And like I said, when I used to work all the time and I was always busy, I didn't have time to process my feelings and my emotions and have to deal with that shit. So actually having to focus in and really look at myself, y'all, that shit scared me. That shit scared me. To be in a place and physically can't pull myself out of it. And I now it was like a cycle. Like I know mentally that I need to get my ass up and I need to move. I know this. Physically, it felt like a whole weight was on me as if I couldn't. And then the self-doubt and the thoughts. You're not gonna do shit. You're not gonna be shit. Look at you. Look what you're doing now. Like, I went through such a bad, like this weird space. And I started trying to do things and maybe try to move around and think, you know what? If I get up and I move and I do something, this is gonna change how I feel here. And it didn't. It did not. So then I knew I need to talk to somebody. Now I will say this. With talking to somebody, having to get on the phone and let somebody know, like, I'm ready to start medication. Like, I need this. That shit was like a good punch for me. It really was. And it's because I am the strong friend. I am the mediator. I am the balance for people around me, my friends, my family, my loved ones. I am the rock. So for the rock to need help made me feel less than. It made me feel really low about myself, because prior to when I used to be moving and going and I used to see about how people go through depression and this and that, I realized me having conversations with these people like, hey girl, you need to get up, you need to do better, you need to figure this part out and do these different things. And when they didn't get up, I just felt like, well, why can't you just get up and do these things? It was because I wasn't experiencing that at the time. So I didn't understand it until I actually fucking experienced it, And I feel like it was really hard to have conversations with people, because it's hard to tell somebody I wake up and I feel like shit. I wake up and I hate where I'm at. I wake up and I don't like myself. I wake up and I just don't feel good. It's so hard to talk to people about that, because number one, people don't like to talk about mental health things, and when it comes to depression, because a lot of people don't even deal with their own shit and they don't want to deal with yours. And even outside of that, the first thing people say is, well, what happened? What's going on? What's wrong with you? And not understanding that sometimes it's nothing. Like, it's literally, I don't know. I'm just as fucking confused. I'm just as confused as you are, as I am. So we're confused together. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like you just wake up and one day you just feel above the fucking clouds, and then the next day you just feel below the dirt, and you don't have a fucking clue why, because it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense that yesterday you felt like $1 million fucking bucks, and then the next day you wake up and it's just, your world is fucking dark. And I was operating when this pandemic and shit happened, and I started being at home more. When I first started my business, I was doing that, you know what I'm saying? And I'm doing orders and I'm packaging them and I'm doing that. So I still was a little busy, but I feel like with the pandemic and as time progressed, I started to see my pattern, I want to talk about some things that I have been doing to help me. And this is for anybody with bipolar disorder that might think they have it. And like I said, I'm not here to diagnose you. Please go talk to somebody. If you feel like you're experiencing these things, go talk to somebody. Please. What I did to start helping me was I actually printed out a schedule. It looks like a chart, right? And through the week, like for each week, I put Monday through Sunday, and through the different times, or whatever. And whenever I found myself having episodes, I started to write it out, right? Because I believe dealing with bipolar disorder is like preparing for a storm. You cannot stop the storm, but you can prepare for the storm, okay? So this making that make sense for y'all. So I started to write down my mood, what I felt, what was going on, and what time it was, right? Because then I started to think, maybe I'm experiencing these things around the same time, and I can kind of prepare myself for what's going to happen. I cannot stop what I'm going to feel, but I know that I can speak with my loved ones to say, hey, I need some time. I'm going through it, because you never want to give that to your friends, family, and your loved ones. You never just want to give them that type of pressure, especially they don't deserve that, as well as me going through and writing, okay, when I go through this episode or that episode, what exactly do I experience? I started to realize a lot of things that I do. Like, I started to clean. Weird. It's weird. It's like sometimes I feel like I'm in the bed and I can't move, and other days I feel like I can't sit still. Okay? So I would just get this random thing in my mind, like, you got to get up and clean up everything, right? So I just start cleaning. It's weird. I just start moving and cleaning. And then because I am into theater and performing arts, I start imagining myself on stage and picturing myself dancing, and just the people are living for me, and different things within that. It's not going on, okay? This is all in my head. So that's what I'm telling you. This is how I know when I'm finna have an episode, okay? Because hypersexuality ties into it, I will try to masturbate or want to have sex, not just for the pleasure, but for the endorphins. Like, I would want to do it because I get this really anxious feeling. And when you have sex and you come or whatever, it releases that and it helps you. So I also picked up a lot of times, it's not necessarily that I crave to have sex, because you get horny. It was because I felt anxious, and then to try to not make me anxious, I would go to either touch myself or have sex. To add some more things that I do to know I'm going into an episode is that I get irritated very easily. There's really no shift in between, and it can come out of anywhere. Like, it doesn't even have to be specifically something just happened. It's just like 1 minute I could be like this, and the next minute I am irritated, I am annoyed, everything around me has pissed me off, and I don't want to deal with anybody. And sometimes, like, if you're dating somebody who has bipolar disorder, or you have it, it's weird. It's a switch, and you can't explain it. It's literally like, and I'm pretty sure a person that don't know, they're confused. They're gonna be like, what the hell is wrong with this girl? Like, what are you doing? Because you don't even understand the switch. For me, because I am aware now and I start to write everything down, when that switch happens, I know when it happens. Because I know if I'm in a good space and something just triggered me, or I just did a switch and now everything, I'm mad, I'll tell my partner, my friends, anybody. I'll be like, hey, I need space right now. I'm not in the best space right now. I need to be alone. And that's just not only for me to calm down, but for me to process, as well as for me to be able to kind of go through the motion of, like, I do not want to tear anybody's head off their shoulders, because they do not deserve that. And what I'm going through and experiencing right now has nothing to do with them. Hell, to be honest with you, 80% of the time, I don't even know why I switch like that. If that's that chemical imbalance, like, it just happens, and there's no understanding or getting it. It just fucking happens, and you be like, oh my God, like, why am I mad? And then for me, I'll get angry, and now I'm crying. And I'm crying because I feel guilty for what I feel. And I'm crying because I don't even know why the fuck I feel this way. Have you ever cried because you were upset and you don't even know why the hell you upset? You just damn crying. You like, what's wrong with, like, it's just this repetitive cycle. So like I said, the storm, I cannot stop the storm, but I can prepare for the storm. So with me kind of picking up these things that I do, I started to prepare myself. And okay, I know before I go into this episode, I know that I need to do these things, not only for myself, but for everybody around me that I love and care about, because I don't ever want to hurt people that I care about, especially when I know there are ways that I can implement that can stop me from doing so. When it comes to talking about mental health in the Black community, it is really difficult because a lot of people just don't want to talk about it, or people just aren't ready to deal with the shit. Some people cannot afford it. Shout out to fucking raggedy ass healthcare. A lot of people, probably like how I was, really don't think they have bipolar disorder. They just think like this is what it is, especially if you've grown up in an environment that's all you know. Like, you really won't know unless you go into, like, for myself, I had to go through therapy. I had to unlearn a lot of things, you know what I'm saying? So, but outside of that, I'm gonna be real with you, I don't know if I would have done it either. So there's no judgment there. But it's like, with me making this video and me wanting to talk about it, is because I am teaching myself that I know for my purpose here, and we all have our purpose. I'm a Life Path 9. My purpose here is to be a humanitarian. My purpose here is to help people. And not feel like I have to be shamed or embarrassed, or I don't want people to view me a certain type of way because of this. Because I know with bipolar disorder, it's such a stigma on it, and people think that you're supposed to be a certain type of way, or things are gonna happen a certain type of way. And I want to be the face for saying that you can have this and you can be okay. Like, you can learn yourself and implement these things that are going to help you with you dealing with this, you know? And I do understand that I'm going to get flack from it when it comes to people talking to me, when it comes to a lot of people who don't know and making assumptions, as well as like, people giving you that energy, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna say one thing I dealt with since I've talked about it that I did not like was like having a conversation and then somebody being like, okay, you're acting like that because you're bipolar. And it's like, I won't say it's 100% no, but at the same time, like, you really don't know. Like, a person can very much express to you that something is distasteful, that they don't like something. They could very much say, hey, I don't like that, I don't want to do that, or be assertive with you, and it's not bipolar disorder. So I'm just going to say this, right? You are not alone. If you do have bipolar disorder, or you have any other mental health issues, that there are people out here that are just like you. I think with TikTok and different things that are going on, especially with YouTube, and I think that we are coming into a place, especially in the Black community, where we can talk about mental health, where we can destigmatize it and not put people in a box for things that they can't control. Thank you guys for coming back to my channel and listen to me talk about this. I would love for you guys to like, comment, you know, hit me up, talk with me. I love to talk, okay? Y'all gonna learn that about me. Bitch, I love to talk. Like, if you want to run it with me about whatever, you can do that. I am super fucking down to earth. I know people be thinking I'm intimidating, and bitch, yes, I am sassy and all that in between. I am. I'm a brat times 100, but like, I am super down to earth, and I would love to run it with you guys. Like, let's do the damn thing. But y'all have a great day. Rufus boy, let me love boy, what you know. Rufus boy, let me love boy, what you know.